Welcome to Embedded Shiksha. Today's video is based on a real interview experience shared by one of our community members who recently interviewed at Nvidia. He has 3+ years of industry experience and he went through multiple technical rounds. And in this video, I am going to break down the kind of question asked, the depth expected, and how you should actually prepare. So, this is not theory, this is based on real recent interview discussion. Before we get started, I have one small request. If you're serious about cracking embedded Linux or kernel interviews, RTOS interviews, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We are going to bring more real interview breakdowns, preparation roadmap, and deep technical content like this regularly. This channel is built for serious engineers. Now let's get into the Nvidia interview experience. So the very first round is Nvidia generally conduct a hiring manager round, or we call it screening round. So it will be on mostly the online round, telephonic or maybe the video call. So hiring manager round is basically going to check whether you are fitment to the team. Basically, he's going to ask you questions from your resume. He is going to ask like what projects you have done. So not more into the depth, but he just want to understand the surface level understanding you have regarding your projects, as well as like how good you are in the C fundamentals. So he can give you few tricky questions to debug from C or C++ depending upon your experience, and he can also give you some problems to basically predict the output of given programs, and then he can ask a few questions from your resume, right? So this is the hiring manager round, and if hiring manager finds you fit for the team, then he will basically call you for the next rounds, mostly offline. They will be calling you to Nvidia offices and they will conduct more technical rounds there, right? So once hiring manager round is done, so second round basically they conducted, and in that they generally ask C++ programming and the fundamentals problem. So um, these are the list of questions which were asked to that guy. So from C fundamentals, if you can see, like how do you determine the byte order of a system programmatically, basically little endian and big endian you have to find out by writing the programs, right? Then what is the difference between constant and volatile, and when would you use each? Explain storage classes in C with real example. What happens when during function parameter passing in the C? Explain stack versus heap memory in details. So these are the questions which were asked from C fundamentals. From the coding point of view, he was asked to write uh, reverse a character array without using library functions, find the middle element of a single linked list, merge two sorted array without using extra large buffer, implement a simple memory allocator, write a simplified formatted print function for integer. So that's why I always ask our trainees to basically focus on the design level questions and don't just uh, remember things like volatile is for this, static is for this. Go into deep and understand the basic fundamentals behind it, right? So write a simplified formatted print functions for integer, then perform pointer arithmetic on a 2D array and explain memory layout, right? So this was the round two. So if you can see in the round two, they will mostly focus upon C programmings and the fundamentals, and they are going to understand the depth of fundamentals which you have, right? So in the third round, they will mostly focus upon your role. So if you're coming from Linux kernel background, or if you're coming from RTOS background, or HAL background, or CUDA background, so depending upon your experience, they are going to ask questions around it, right? So from this guy, they ask a lot of questions with respect to operating system concepts, like explain process versus thread, what happens during a context switch, paging and virtual memory at a high level, what are the different process synchronization mechanism in Linux kernel, because he was a Linux kernel guy. When would you use pinlog instead of mutex? Interrupt and concurrency. Explain how interrupt handling works in embedded systems. What is the difference between top half and the bottom half? How do you protect shared resources in ISR context? And then because he had Linux device driver background, so definitely they ask questions from what is the basic structure of basic character driver, how does user space communicate with the kernel space, what are the wait queues, how is memory allocated inside the kernel. Then a lot of questions they ask from his projects, basically from the resume, like they ask like draw your project memory map. So basically test like how much understanding you have from the projects which you have worked upon in your previous organization, right? What were the synchronization challenges you faced, and what are the synchronization approach you have followed in your project. So these kind of questions they ask. Then how did you debug a race condition? What tools did you use for tracing and debugging? If your system crashes, what step do you follow? Right? So these kind of questions they generally ask in a third level of a third round of interview basically. So you can expect few questions, design level questions as well, depending upon your experience. So let's say if your experience is 5 years, 7 years, or maybe 10 years, then you can expect few questions with respect to the embedded system design as well, and they can go for further round as well. For this guy, this was the third round. And before moving further, so as you all know, we are going to start Bootcamp 3.0 coming starting from this Monday actually. And as part of this bootcamp, we are going to prepare for the interviews for these product-based companies, Nvidia, Qualcomm, AMD, and all these companies. We are going to cover C fundamentals, DSA coding, RTOS, Linux kernel and drivers, mock interview, resume prep guidance, and we are also going to cover interview specific, sorry, company specific interview preparations as part of this, right? So for our this community member, only 3 rounds were conducted, but it really depends upon your experience. uh, if your experience is, let's say, 10 years, 12 years, then they also go for the director round. So where director basically check like what kind of leadership you are coming with, right? So do you have leadership quality or not? So these kinds of questions you can expect in Nvidia when you are going to prepare for Nvidia. So keep these into rounds in your minds, and accordingly it will guide you to how you can do your best in Nvidia interview, right? So thank you so much. If you like this video, I will request you to hit the like button, and for more interview experience, please comment more below. Thank you so much.